guys, welcome back to Yook, the cooking channel that's not so useless. In this video, we'll be steaming up a Longdu style taro cake. Now, I'm sure many of you are familiar with this savory dish. Imagine this when I say taro cake. But a Longdu style taro cake is steamed very thinly in comparison, sort of like a pancake. Each bite of this taro cake is chock full of different savory flavors, and you can always change up the texture with a quick pan sear. And to make this dish, you'll need rice flour, cooking wine, light soy sauce, sugar, salt, water, dried shrimp, 5-spice powder, taro, toasted sesame seeds, shiitake mushrooms, 𝐈𝐧𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐷, 𝐈𝐧𝐿𝐷𝐿𝐷, pork belly, shallot, and spring onion. For the quantities, you'll need 350 grams of rice flour, around 1.25 liters of water total, 900 grams of taro, 100 grams of 𝐈𝐧𝐿𝐷, 100 grams of 𝐈𝐧𝐿𝐷, 200 grams of pork belly, 30 grams of dried shrimp, 4 to 6 shiitake mushrooms, but the amount is up to you, 1 tablespoon of minced shallots, 1 tablespoon of cooking wine, half a teaspoon of light soy sauce, 1 teaspoon of sugar, 1 teaspoon of salt, half a teaspoon of 5-spice powder, toasted sesame seeds, and spring onion. And to make this dish, you'll need to do 4 key things. Prep all of the ingredients, followed by a quick stir fry, mix the rice flour, water, and ingredients together, and then steam the taro cake. But before we begin, if you do enjoy this video, do consider subscribing, as it does help the channel out. Starting off, give the dried shrimp 2 quick rinses before submerging them in about 100 ml of water, and this amount is crucial for later on, and let them rehydrate for about half an hour. Then give the pork belly a quick rinse, followed by the 𝐈𝐧𝐿𝐷 and 𝐈𝐧𝐿𝐷. Now for this recording, we'll be using our homemade 𝐈𝐧𝐿𝐷 and 𝐈𝐧𝐿𝐷, but of course, you can use store-bought brands as well. In your kettle, boil up some water, and then at your stove, turn the heat on high, pour in the water, put the lid on, and let the water reach a boil. Once boiling, put in your 𝐈𝐧𝐿𝐷 and 𝐈𝐧𝐿𝐷, then turn the heat down to a medium, and let it steam for roughly 10 minutes. After 10 minutes, take them out and let them cool down. In the meantime, move on to peeling the taro. Now be very careful when working with taro. The calcium oxalate in the taro can make your skin very itchy, so it is highly suggested to wear gloves when preparing the taro. If you don't have gloves, then be very careful not to make the taro or your hands wet. After peeling, if you notice any spots of early decay, then be sure to cut it out. Then give the taro a good rinse. Moving on, we're going to dice the taro. Now make sure your chopping board doesn't slide around when cutting the taro, so brace the board with a damp cloth. And to make cutting taro even safer, carefully chop a bit off the taro, then rotate and use that new flat surface to stabilize it. Then slice away. Once cutting the taro starts to get unstable, rotate the taro once more, and continue. Then cut the slices into strips, and then dice it. Moving on to the pork belly. Remove the skin and cut the pork into strips. Personally, we find that the fattier the pork belly, the more enjoyable the dish becomes. After that, dice the pork belly. With the shiitake mushrooms, If you haven't already, then be sure to watch our video on how to rehydrate and store shiitake mushrooms, such that they're available for use whenever you need it. And similarly, we're just going to dice them. With the shallot, top and tail, and peel off the first layer. And then mince it. Now back to our 𝐈𝐧𝐿𝐴𝐴𝐴. Cut off the skin, cut it in half, and then dice. And with the 𝐈𝐧𝐿𝐴𝐴, cut it in half, then quarter it lengthwise, before again dicing. And make sure you keep any liquid that's still in the steaming dish. Then once you've measured out the other ingredients, the prep work is done. We're going to bring some life to the ingredients. So at your stove, turn the heat on high, and when hot, add in some oil. When the oil is hot, add in the pork and cook until a good portion of the water evaporates. After that, add in the shallots and give it a few tosses. And repeat with the cooking wine. Then add in the mushrooms, shrimp, 𝐈𝐵𝐿𝐴𝐴, and 𝐈𝐵𝐿𝐴𝐴, and continue tossing for a good minute. Then add in the taro and mix it through nicely. Once you've given it a mix, turn the heat down low, and add in the light soy sauce, salt, 5 spice powder, and sugar. After mixing, use the leftover 100 ml of shrimp water to rinse out that 𝐈𝐵𝐿𝐴𝐴 and 𝐈𝐵𝐿𝐴 flavour into the taro mixture. Then turn the heat back up high, and continue tossing for about a minute, before adding in roughly 150 ml of water and continue tossing for another minute. Next, we'll want to steam the mixture a little, so put the lid on and turn the heat down low. We're going to let it steam for about 2 to 3 minutes before tossing the mixture again. And we're going to repeat this step at least twice, just to evenly distribute the moisture. Once that's done, we're going to turn the heat off and let it steam in the residual heat whilst we attend to the rice flour. We're aiming for the taro to be about 80% cooked, so let the mixture steam for no longer than half an hour tops before taking it out. And just for reference, you should be able to just squash the almost cooked taro. Now onto our rice flour. We're going to slowly pour and mix in 330 ml of water. Once a gloopy dough starts to form, almost fold and press the flour together. When you feel like pressing no longer works, add in about 50 ml of water and continue folding and pressing. You'll want to continue doing this until the dough becomes smooth and shiny, and by hand, that'll probably take about 15 to 20 minutes. But why do that when you can just operate a machine at low speeds instead? Afterwards, we're going to add in the remaining 670 ml of water, but in small batches, and continue folding and pressing. But be careful when squeezing, or you'll have a mess to clean up. When you're done, the rice flour water should almost resemble thinned out milk. And when that's achieved, add in your cooled down taro mixture and mix it throughout. The taro will help thicken up the liquid. And when the mixture thinly coats and sticks to the ladle, you know it's done. On to steaming. Turn the heat on high and boil some water. In your steaming dish, apply a layer of oil to prevent the taro cake from sticking. Then when your water is boiling, put the steaming dish in and ladle in the taro mixture. Again, this is a thin style taro cake. You don't need to ladle in that much, but be sure to evenly distribute all the ingredients. Then put the lid on and steam for about 5 minutes, give or take. After 5 minutes, take the taro cake out and top with spring onions and toasted sesame seeds. And before you're too eager to dig into this, let it rest for about 2 to 3 minutes to allow it to solidify a little. Then after that little wait, cut it however you want. And your Longdu style taro cake is done. So guys, that was my family's recipe for Longdu Taro Cake. I hope you all enjoyed this video. And if you ever get the chance to make this at home, be sure to tell us how it goes. And if you want to see any of our future videos, be sure to subscribe. See ya.